Hello, elementary music teachers, and welcome back. One of the biggest misconceptions about classroom movement is that the movement has to take a long time to make a difference. But honestly, some of the most effective movement moments in the classroom take less than 30 seconds. And the best part is that these tiny resets can refocus attention, prevent behaviors, increase participation, improve transitions, and completely shift the energy of the room without turning your classroom upside down. So today I want to show you my simple 30-second movement formula that you can start using almost immediately in your classroom. But hopefully you're like me and it's your summer break and you're doing some planning, but you're not going to be in the classroom for a good little bit. This formula is incredibly simple. Interrupt, engage, refocus. That's it. And the reason that this often works so well is because students don't always need a giant break. They just need a reset, a participation movement, a quick body brain connection. Especially in the elementary classroom where attention spans are still developing and students were never really designed to sit and passively absorb information for a long stretch of time. Research continues to show that attention and memory are strongly connected to active engagement, novelty, and physical involvement. Young students especially tend to learn best when their brains and bodies are working together. And honestly, most students start losing focus long before the teacher realizes that the attention is drifting. So, that being said, the first step is to interrupt the current energy in the classroom. And this is really important because sometimes we accidentally teach straight through disengagement. Now, sometimes we can catch it. We start seeing side conversations, our students wiggling in our chairs, their eyes glazing over, they're touching their neighbors, they're making those silly noises. But instead of waiting for these behaviors to develop into something else, we interrupt it early. And sometimes out of our 30-second formula, this will only take 5 seconds. Some of my favorite examples: clapback rhythms, which is so easy to make even more musical in the elementary music classroom, freeze poses, a quick echo pattern, having a ball or a scarf that you toss to one student who you see might have their attention wandering, or a student who's really focused. Questions like stand if you hear forte. The goal is not punishment. And honestly, a lot of times we don't even want to call attention to the fact that the focus was starting to shift. We don't want to constantly be saying things like, guys, you need to stop talking. Everybody pay attention. This class is getting too silly. Instead, we can quietly redirect the energy before things fully fall apart. The goal is simply everyone's attention is coming back together because movement works as prevention, not as punishment. And these tiny resets help students connect to the lesson without turning disengagement into a confrontation. Step one, interrupt. Step two, engage. Now that you've interrupted the current energy, the next step is to engage your students. And this is where movement becomes purposeful instead of just random. The key here is students should do something physically connected to what you're teaching about. Though the important thing here is moving, we want to try to make sure that it's not moving just for the sake of moving because we can do so much more than that. And honestly, this part is the part that can take a bit of practice at first. The goal is to reconnect students back to the same concept that you were already teaching before the interrupt. So if you were talking about dynamics, maybe students make their bodies grow big for forte and small for piano. If you're talking about articulation, maybe students are bouncing for staccato and gliding for legato. And if you were practicing rhythms, make sure your rhythm clapbacks are using the same rhythms that you're working on, but maybe instead of your students just clapping, maybe your students are jumping to them. How easy is it to go from interrupting them, ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, to everyone on your feet jump that same pattern for ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. Again, you can connect movement through rhythm callbacks, animal poses that match the musical concepts that you were talking about. Because students are going to move a lot differently for a legato snake than for a bouncing bunny. Tracing shapes in the air that again can be intentional because there's a big difference between having your students draw dots and having your students draw swirls. If you have a couple hand clapping games, then can they still do that game, but now change it based on what you were talking about? One of my favorites that only takes a second is a sailor went to CCC. And if I'm talking about tempo, then how easy is it to go from a sailor went to sea, see. Then getting my students really having a good time with a sailor went to sea to see what. So fun, so engaging, and so on topic. The important thing is that students are re-entering the learning through play and participation instead of just being told to refocus. And honestly, this gets easier and easier the more you practice it. And this matters because it helps students participate before the attention drops again. And honestly, participation is one of the best classroom management tools that we have, because a student who's actively involved tends to stay more connected to the lesson and less likely to do the behaviors that we just don't want to see. Step 3, refocus. This is the part that teachers often skip. And it also is what sometimes makes it where movement accidentally creates more chaos instead of less, because there was no clear transition back to learning. So after this wonderful movement moment, bring students back together intentionally. Now that's easy for things like clapback rhythms, where instead of ending with ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, you're ending with ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. But other examples include freeze and breathe, hands to self. If they have a scarf, smoothing out that scarf. Or one of my favorites, rolling that scarf in a ball and whispering a quiet wish. Giving your students a seated statue position to get into, silent 3 countdown. Or mirroring the teacher's pose, which can go from silly to calm. This helps students regulate their energy instead of staying heightened. And honestly, it's this tiny step that makes a huge difference in how manageable movement then feels. And it doesn't have to be elaborate. Sometimes just having one intentional musical example ready to go can completely shift the energy of the room. And these are, again, small teaching moves that can make a huge difference over the course of the entire lesson. And the total time, again, for this was between 20 and 30 seconds. One of my favorite ways to re-engage my students in a quick and simple way is I show them 2 hand signs at the beginning of the year, the hand sign for standing and the hand sign for sitting. And I told my students at the beginning of the year that at any point throughout the lesson, I may do this. And I'm looking for the student who is quickest to show me that they are following along and stand up the quickest. Then I may lead them through a little bit of a fun time going between sit, stand, sit, stand. Again, this can be quick, this can be slow. I could say, all right, now I want you to do this, but I don't want you to make one single sound. We are talking about that dynamic pianissimo. And I want it to be so quiet that I cannot hear your chair squeak under you. Such a fun way to, again, talk about what you were just talking about in the lesson, but connect it to what they're doing with their bodies, and such a simple way to then transition them back down. And again, we'll take less than 30 seconds. Movement doesn't need to be huge. And I really want teachers to hear this part. Movement doesn't have to take over your entire lesson to be effective. Sometimes teachers think, well, if I can't do elaborate movement, then I just won't bother. But honestly, it's the tiny intentional movements repeated consistently that are more effective than occasional giant activities, especially because they feel manageable. They fit naturally into our lessons. They support our students' regulation, and they become predictable parts of our classroom routine. And it is shown that predictable routines make students feel successful. Now, before we finish up, I also wanted to remind you that if you're watching this series over the summer and starting to think ahead to the next school year, this is the perfect time to grab your Soaring Summer of Free. While we spend the summer talking about movement, engagement, classroom strategies here on YouTube, you can also explore the full Soaring Scarves membership for 2 free months and start collecting lesson ideas, movement activities, and classroom routines before the school year even begins. So if you want ready to teach lessons where the movement transitions and engagement are already built into the lesson structure for you, make sure to check out that linked below and follow along with the series throughout the summer. And if you think you're even going to use one of these movement breaks in your classroom, make sure you are liking, subscribing, and following along, because it definitely helps the channel. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. In the next part of the series, we are going to talk about the easiest places to naturally add movement into your classroom without changing your entire teaching style. Thank you so much, and happy playing.